The story begins as a boy was studying that night as usual. In his study table he was reading a book, and at a summer night he was enjoying leisurely in his air-conditioned room. But all of a sudden the boy felt a chill down his spine as if someone was watching him, and for an instant he turned his gaze towards the window only to be met with a haunting image. There was a woman clad in black staring at him intently and silently. It seems their eyes met. He suddenly felt so cold, prompting him to quickly look away from the window. He kept telling to himself that this lady was just a stalker, and in order for him to stay calm he continued reading the book. But the next moment the boy in cold sweat suddenly noticed that the woman from outside the window staring at him coldly was not a human being, and it's because this woman is far stretched taller than the building itself. And it's also because the boy's room was at the second floor. It seems ghost stories like these for Yuru-kun were told many times by his friends. And right now he stared and glances from afar. She pointed out that something was out of place. He finally put two and two together as the creature standing in front was not a human being. Despite this he wasn't scared at all, even though it was his first time seeing a ghost like this. He tries to pretend he didn't notice the tall ghost woman, but a rattle from a can made noises giving his presence away. The ghost girl suddenly got up to his face, staring blankly, pondering that her appearance is being seen. Yuru, hearing this, denies the accusation and immediately left, running away, exclaiming he didn't see anything. As he ran straight home, he could only ponder how that ghost woman was able to stretch longer. Not scary enough for him, but his instincts told him that he could be put into even more big trouble if that woman was to come into his life. Out of breath, Yuru-kun shuts the door tight, trying to catch his breath. But the ghost snuck up behind him through the window, pondering if he could see her all this time. The woman still insists on seeing his scared face and to hear his screams as he could see and have their eyes met. Not only that, he also responds to her statements. Yuru-kun tries to close the window, asking she should go back to her place, but she only will go away if she ever see his scared face. She wonders if she was scaring him, but Yuru-kun doesn't even have an inch of scare in his face. He shouted loudly of not being afraid of her, which left the ghost girl to be confused, profusely wondering if she is not scary at all. She tries to do a lot of scary transformation, but Yuru finds this to be the same thing and nothing big of a deal. Hearing this made her hysterical, using her poltergeist power, but a person was coming into his room, which it seems it was her stepmother, apologizing for being late on bringing dinner, but she was hit by the ghost's woman poltergeist power. This made Yuru to panic for a bit, but all he got was just a reminder to be careful. Upon being left alone, it seems the ghost in his room could only be seen by Yuru. Hearing the ghost woman to not take accountability made him angry, causing him to throw a fit against her. After this she awkwardly apologized for the disturbance. Yuru only asks that she should go away. But the pleading ghost couldn't, as she won't go until having scared him big time. Yuru understood the assignment and made a scared face. He nonchalantly asks if that was enough and she should be on her way. It's also revealed he wasn't close to the woman he claims to be his stepmom, as his father remarried. As he was done eating, he headed to sleep, asking to not be disturbed, otherwise he would feel his anger and wrath. The ghost's girl, hearing this, only thought of the right time for ghosts. As he slept in, the ghost girl vents her frustration of being easily threatened by elementary schoolers like Yuru, which she shortly initiated her plans. She suddenly made footsteps on the stairs whilst everybody was sleeping, making sounds when there shouldn't be anybody is heard. Soon after, the steps kept getting louder and closer to the one being hunted. But to her surprise, Yuru was much more of an enemy to be reckoned with, as Yuru faced her with a pencil straight into her eyes, exclaiming she was noisy. As night dawns, she still couldn't believe Yuru would continue sleeping after he just pierced her eyes, calling him horrible. But Yuru already apologized and complimented her face being scary after getting pierced in the eyes. Hearing this made her happy. But he surely left for school, asking to not stalk him as other people might see her. She boldly claims no one would see her, but Yuru just doesn't want the disturbance. The ghost girl ponders of how kindly strange he was towards her. Hearing this made him confused, as he only states it was his first time ever seeing a ghost. It seems there were other ghosts also which he doesn't see scaring Yuru. But he brushed this off as nobody can see her anyways other than him. And it seems her name was Kanako-san. We then transition to a typical ghost stories which a girl jumped from a school building due to being bullied. It seems after this she kept repeating this even as a ghost. Which in school Yuru was daydreaming and suddenly saw a high school ghost girl jump, but her body stretched as far as the building, making it an awkward situation for them. This only made Yuru-kun to be frustrated of how long her body was. As his afternoon went on, he could only ponder how weird Kanako-san was for a ghost. It seems he only sees her as a big sister with a personality. And he never got scared facing her. That night as Yuru-kun was about to take a bath, he suddenly noticed a piece of hair sticking out. Upon checking it out, it was none other than the ghost girl trying to scare him, but she was only met with dreadful eyes, leaving Yuru to shake her away with hot water. She pointed out that Yuru-kun is rude, but he pointed out anybody would be angry at her if she recklessly went into the bathtub. Upon dipping in the water was instantly cold, and it's maybe due to her ghostly powers that did it so. As he finished while walking back at his room, he suddenly overheard of his step-mom having the lack of confidence. It seems she talked about going into his son's room and being hurled at by his book at her, indicating Yuru-kun might hate her step-mom. His step-mom also pointed out that Yuru-kun keeps talking to the air, which frightens her. Later on, Yuru caught a cold which he laid sick in bed. The ghost girl expressed her worries, surprising him. Upon revealing his parents weren't home, he finds this to not be good, as Kanako-san is totally free right now and he might find himself cursed to death by her. But he was shocked for her to put her hands on his forehead, lowering his temperature and giving him comfort if he was feeling better, already using her ghostly powers. As he was feeling better, he wonders how did he manage to get sick like this. Kanako-san nervously answered, pointing towards him getting sick due to the cold bath yesterday, indicating it was her fault to begin with. Yuru-kun suddenly questioned if she was really a ghost and if she had a family left behind. It seems she doesn't remember much and could only remember passing away by something for a road roller. Yuru suddenly exclaims envy, wanting to be a ghost, as Kanako-san looks like she was having fun. She exclaims there wasn't, as they have their own problem as well. But she stopped seeing him fall asleep, but had the idea of wanting to give him a good show when he wakes up. As night falls, it seems Yuru is surprised to fall asleep the whole day. Looking around, it was already dark. Aside from this, he got downstairs. There he seems surprised of Kanaka's centipede form scaring him to death. Seeing this made him startled. Kanaka-san thought it was hilarious and was joking around, but she witnessed Yuru-kun to fall down a bunch of flight of stairs. Seeing him fall and hit his head, she suddenly realized the grave situation and panicked. As she exclaims this was a joke, Yuru finally admitted that her little prank was truly scary, finally finishing her objective. But despite this, she didn't want this in the first place, calling for help. His stepmother suddenly woke up in a daze. As she looked out the window, she scarily screamed at his stepmom for help. This made Mio to rush towards the stairs, finding Yuru-kun. As she tended to him, it seems calling out to him as a blurred for Yuru, but all he could exclaim was his mother. She started to hug Yuru-kun and profusely apologize, always having no idea how to make herself his new mother. Seeing this made Kanaka-san to vanished. Since then, that incident, he can never see Kanako-san again anymore. He wonders if this was because of his head injury or she simply left due to really scaring his face. This made him felt lonely afterwards. And it seems his stepmother is now more comfortable as his parents got even more closer, where he questioned what kind of person was her old mother. His father describes her to be a joyful person, being loved by everyone. If she were alive, she would have been proud, but unfortunately after he was born, she shortly died of a terrible accident. It seems his mother died due to a big road roller. Hearing this made put two and two together. He tries to deny this, heading outside for school, where Kanaka-san was haunting the next door neighbor all along.